Okay, this is a reaction video. This is from Walter's World, Ohio, the don'ts of visiting Ohio. Now, I live in Columbus, and I know exactly where he is before he even says where he is. I've seen that's he's in Dublin, Ohio. He's not too far from a, a restaurant that I like to go to called the Rail. Like I said, the minute I've never seen this video before. This is the first time I'm watching this. The don'ts of visiting Ohio, and like since I lived there, but I didn't expect to see something or have him be someplace where I know exactly where he's at. But this is a don'ts of visiting Ohio. This is in Dublin. These are like some stone corn, corn on the cob. I don't know why why this is there, but it is what it is.
Hey there, fellow travelers.
Please click like and share, subscribe for Walter's World, and like a lot of you have, and please click like, share, and subscribe for me.
Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Dublin, Ohio, for the don'ts of visiting Ohio. And I thought
Dublin is right in Columbus, is right outside of Columbus, right in the center of the state.
a field of corn is a perfect place to begin our video. And my first don't for you when it comes to Ohio is something that you don't just have to worry about when you're in Ohio, but when you travel around the world and you see people from Ohio. And that is, don't freak out when people make a small flash mob when they hear OA.
And they're going to yell IO. People, they definitely do that around the Ohio State football games. OHIO. So if anybody else OH, you're in Ohio, IO is what the response is.
And then someone else go IO for Ohio, and they'll use something like the cornstalk here to be the I in Ohio, and you'll see.
Yeah, and again, they're doing the OHIO thing. Now, they'll do that anywhere where you go. I've seen people do that at the Eiffel Tower. You know, the Eiffel Tower being the I. There's at Notre Dame College, they have something called Touchdown Jesus, where it's a picture of Jesus like this, and Jesus will be the H and the OH. In fact, my sister and nephew and brother-in-law did that. Yeah, that's what that's all about.
See people make the Ohio, and you know, and even if you're not an Ohio fan, you're not from Ohio, you see them do it, and sometimes they'll suck you in. But don't freak out with the little Ohio flash mobs you'll see when you're here. Now, I'm actually just a little bit north of the Ohio State University, and I think another don't that people need to know is don't forget the in front of the Ohio State University.
Now, that's not such a big thing, but one of the things that you'll hear people say the Ohio State. In fact, I tried to get it. Well, I forget what they tried to do, but if you say Ohio, you can say Ohio State, you can say the Bucks, you can say whatever you want. But when it comes to Ohio State University, it's the Ohio State University.
Because the people from here won't let you forget it. Okay, and
that's Ohio Stadium. That's where I'm going to be this coming Saturday. I'm going to go to the game, Ohio State versus Iowa. Very nice stadium. Seats about 506,000.
I think another thing is important, one that I really needed to know, and I really forgot when I got dressed this morning, is don't wear blue and yellow when you come to Ohio.
No, people who wear Michigan stuff in Ohio. People will generally leave you alone in situations like that, except during Ohio State Michigan week. That's the only time where they might say something about it, but
because those colors are not cool, especially if you're in Columbus and near the Ohio State University, because nobody likes Michigan. And yes, I know those Michigan fans will say, actually, it's blue and maize. Look, nobody cares.
It's maize and blue. Oh, blue, maize and blue, sorry.
There's Michigan. Nobody cares. But just know, if you're in Columbus, you're wearing blue and yellow.
Now, Urban Meyer, who used to coach Ohio State, if you wore blue into the athletic facility office, he didn't like that.
It's not going to go over well, all right? So let's go see some more less rainy parts of Ohio, hopefully, to continue our list. Now, another thing that you might worry about your teeth safety is don't worry about busting a tooth when you bite into.
Now, a Buckeye is a nut, actually, but the Buckeyes you're looking at here are chocolate and peanut butter.
To a Buckeye. So if you're not sure what a Buckeye is, when you're looking at the candy Buckeye, I should say, is this is a treat from here in Ohio. And what it is a peanut butter ball covered in chocolate, and it looks like a Buckeye, right? And it's something that you will get a lot of places. I know I had a number of Ohio State grads that were my instructors back in college, and whenever Ohio State and Illinois played, they would always bring us Buckeyes to class. And since it was that time and Ohio State kind of destroyed Illinois every time, we got to at least enjoy something from the destruction that...
You should know I went to an Ohio State-Illinois game in the Horseshoe, which is what Ohio Stadium is called, and Illinois killed Ohio State. So I've seen it go the other way.
Our team got from the Ohio State Buckeyes, so there is that. Now, my next don't for you is don't think that North Carolina is truly the birthplace of aviation.
Yeah, because the Wright brothers are from Ohio. Okay.
Because the Wright brothers, they're from here in Ohio. If you go to Dayton, they actually have a memorial to them there. And speaking of flying high, another don't I have for you is don't think Florida is the best place to go in the U.S. for...
Yeah, some of the best places for roller coasters are in Ohio. Cedar Point is up in the north, and to the south, it's Kings Island.
Roller coasters, because the best amusement park for roller coasters anywhere in the U.S. is Cedar Point, because it seems like every year they're trying to make the tallest, the fastest, the longest roller coaster possible. And I've been going there. Actually, I went there a ton as a kid. That was our summer vacation, going to Sandusky, going to Cedar Point, heading over to Cleveland, going to Toledo. We did Ohio all the time, and that was the highlight, was going to Cedar Point. So don't think you have to go to Florida for real roller coasters. Cedar Point beats them every time. Now, another thing where you might think you need to go to another state to enjoy something is don't think the Christmas Story house is actually in Indiana, because it's not. It's actually
Ohio.
in Cleveland. You can actually do a tour.
Yeah, the Christmas Story. If you've ever seen the movie The Christmas Story, that house was actually in Cleveland. It's not in Indiana, and you can actually go up there and go through the house.
Of the house from A Christmas Story. You could even spend the night there. But do realize, don't think it's in Indiana. It's right here in Ohio. Another thing I think is important for people to realize is when they think of the Midwest and they think Ohio, like Ohio, Midwest, it must be one of those landlocked states. Well,
Yeah, Ohio is landlocked from as far as the oceans are concerned, but up in the north, you have Cleveland, you have Lake Erie.
Next don't for you is don't think that Ohio is landlocked. Lake Erie out there is fantastic, and yes, there are beaches you can go and enjoy. It's great for sailing. I mean, every summer we'd be in...
My sister and brother-in-law own a boat up there in Erie. Avon, in Avon. And they have a boat, and during the summer, they'll spend as much time as there as possible. They generally spend the weekends there. Now that their kids are grown, if the kids come home, they just you have the house. We're going to take the boat. And so, yeah, the boats. The funny thing is they've had that boat for 5 or 6 years. I've never been to the boat.
In Sandusky, we would have Cedar Point. We go to the water parks, and we go sailing around Lake Erie. We go in Put-in Bay and all kinds.
And right there, that's a place I was actually at last week. If you in the background there, I don't know if you can see it, is the stadium where the Cleveland Browns play. And my brother-in-law pulled in fact, over to the left, you can't see it, is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But you pull in there and tailgate before the game and then walk into the stadium.
Kinds of stuff and all kinds of other little places along the way. But don't think there's no beaches, because you can get out there and you can enjoy the water when you're here in Ohio. It's not just cornfields. Now, when you are driving around in Ohio, I do have to tell you one thing is don't call it soda. They call it pop here. So
yeah, a carbonated beverage, Coke, Pepsi, whatever it is generally called pop in Ohio. That was something I had to learn, because when I came from South Carolina, I called it a soda, but they told me, no, it's pop. Everybody called it pop.
When you're grabbing a Coke, you're grabbing a Mountain Dew or whatever, just know it's pop. And my dear friend Cara Deer and I would fight over this summer after summer when we would talk about soda versus pop. She's like, why you call it pop? I'm like, why you call it soda? Because it's soda, not pop. But here, it's definitely pop when you're in Ohio. Now, another don't I have for you is don't forget to thank Ohio the next time you dip your French fries into your...
Yeah, Wendy's was founded. The fast food place Wendy's was founded in Ohio.
Wendy's Frosty, because
in Columbus,
Ohio is the birthplace of Wendy's. And while you're driving around Ohio and you're dipping your fries into your Frosty, I think there's another don't I have for you, and that is don't think that the roads won't get you when you're here in Ohio.
Okay, that's 23 North. That's High Street. That's 35 West of Dayton.
Whether it's the potholes or the road construction or the cost of the turnpike,
they are always doing that in Ohio.
The roads here can get you, but what's cool is actually the drivers in Ohio are actually pretty good drivers. So it's not the Ohio people that drive you nuts when you're driving on the highway on 90 or whatever. It's like the people from Indiana that just park in the left lane and go over there. Now, another don't I have for you come here is don't forget to bring some outdoor gear when you're here, because there's state parks you can go visit. You can go all along the beaches and things. You can go to Hocking Hills State Park, Nelson Kennedy Ledges State Park. I mean, there's a national park that's right outside of Cleveland, Cuyahoga National Park. You can go there and you can hike on the ledges. You can take a train through there.
I just did a video about Germany, talk about the trails and things like that that you can go that you can do in Germany, which is a little bit different from the United States. But they have a lot of trails in Ohio that you can do if you like walking. It's a great place to walk.
You can do bike trails. I mean, there's a lot of state parks to go and enjoy, and city parks.
Yeah, National Park Service properties in Ohio, Cuyahoga Valley National Park, Hopewell Culture National Historic Park, Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historic Park, First Ladies National Historic Site, James Garfield, William Howard Taft, David Berger, Perry's Victory. In fact, there's a place not too far from Marie and Columbus called Blacklick where you can walk around as well.
Parks to enjoy when you're here in Ohio. So don't think you're just going to be going Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland. No, go to some of those.
Yeah, and that's Cincinnati's in the south, Columbus is in the middle, Cleveland's in the north. That's how Ohio is. But you also have Toledo, Akron, and other places like that, Dayton.
State parks. Go to the national park this year and enjoy those as well. Now, whenever I travel, obviously food becomes an important thing for me. And one don't I have for you is don't skip out on the ice cream. If you can get great.
Yeah, Jenny's ice cream and great. My cousin, when he was out here from California, fell in love with Jenny's because it's really they give you free samples and things like that to try it before you buy it. And yeah, there's a lot of Graeter's ice cream places you can get. They make tremendous shakes.
Graeter's ice cream or Jenny's ice cream, those are the two Ohio staples, and they are really, really, really good. And yes, they do have a Buckeye flavored ice cream, so you can have that. I personally like their Samora one, but I'm a Graeter's guy. Some people are Jenny's people. I'm a Graeter's guy. But honestly, you will have really good ice cream when you're here. Another food thing that people usually talk about when they come to Ohio is the chili. And my don't for you is don't get shocked when you see them pouring.
They're talking about
chili
on the spaghetti. That's what's the name of that place?
On top of spaghetti noodles and then topping it with
Skyline chili. You go to Skyline and they put it's called Cincinnati style chili, and they put it on the spaghetti. It is really good.
Cheese. That's chili three-way. And if you're in Cincinnati or by Cincinnati or other parts of Ohio, you'll see Skyline chili. And people will tell you, oh, you got to get Skyline chili. And my don't for the chili thing, aside from don't be surprised that happens, is don't be upset if you're not a fan of Skyline chili, because for as many people that have told me when we're going to Ohio, you have to have Skyline chili, the same number of people said, I don't really like it that much. So it is one of those things, but you should try it when you do come here. Oh, also, a side note.
And they have Skyline Chili's in Columbus, too, and I think they have it in Cleveland as well.
If you're in Cincinnati, don't think that the Cincinnati airport.
Yeah, the Cincinnati airport's in Kentucky. I've flown in and out of Cincinnati a couple times. I don't know if it's still a Delta hub. I don't think it is anymore, but it's actually in Kentucky. It's right across the border in Kentucky.
It is actually in Ohio. It's actually in Kentucky. Another don't I have for you, and this is kind of a don't that really should go with any place you go, but don't diss Ohio to the locals. Look.
Yeah, you shouldn't diss. Well, look, if you come to Columbus, people called it a cow town for the longest time and things like that. We have our fair share. The big sport in Ohio and the nation, the United States, is football or American football. We have the Bengals down south. They do play in Ohio. They aren't located in Kentucky. Cleveland up in north. You have baseball with the Guardians and the Reds. Guardians up in Cleveland, Reds in Cincinnati. You do have hockey, which is the Columbus Blue Jackets in Columbus. You have NBA basketball, which is the Cavaliers up in Cleveland. And you do have what I like to call real football or soccer in Cincinnati and in Columbus. In Columbus, you had the very first soccer-specific stadium was built here, and they actually have another one built. So there's actually two in Columbus. two soccer specific stadiums. Only city in America that has that, and it's really a nice thing about Ohio.
Look, the local people from Ohio, they'll say some bad stuff about Ohio, but it's like, it's our state and
That's downtown Columbus where that is right now.
we can complain about it, but you can't. So if you're in Cleveland, you say, oh, the mistake on the lake, they'll be like, nah, man, we're pretty cool. And honestly, Cleveland, when they say Cleveland rocks, it really does. Like, Cleveland is awesome, from the architecture, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Christmas Story house is there. I mean, it's a
They just showed the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right there. That's not too far from where the Browns play, and what I showed you about the docks.
really, really cool city. And you go around, Columbus is well worth visiting. I understand why anybody that went to Ohio State, anybody that's from Columbus, defends that city to the end, because it's actually a really great place. And Ohio actually is a really, really nice state to visit, with the cities to visit, the small towns you can go to. Heck, another don't for you is, no matter what town you go to, don't skip out on eating at the local bar, because you'll meet some locals, you get to talk to them, you get some great food, and it'll be really a part of your experience here in Ohio. But don't diss Ohio, and to go along with that, don't think Ohio doesn't have culture. There are a number of world-class museums and exhibits and places to visit when you are here in Ohio.
Again, that's downtown Columbus, and that's in fact, that if you've ever seen the movie Traffic, the American version with not the miniseries from Europe, the one from the United States, Michael Douglas. I believe that's the courthouse. You see him coming out of there, being filmed coming out of there.
Ohio. If you're in Cleveland, the Cleveland Museum of Art has an incredible collection of art. You got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that's there. Or if you're going down to Columbus, you got the Franklin Park Conservatory and the Botanical Gardens there that you can check out. The Center of Science and Industry is really
Yeah, Center of Science and Industry is we call COSI, Center of Science and
cool. I mean, Columbus itself is just a
And Jack Hanna, have you ever seen him on David Letterman back in the day? Jack Hanna, was the guy who ran the Columbus Zoo.
really nice town to be. Visit the Ohio State campus. I mean, it's got some really, really wonderful places to visit here, and the museums and the sites, and heck, there's small town museums here. Here where I'm at right now, there's actually a Finnish Heritage Museum. You can learn about the Finns of Ohio. It's unbelievable, but it's here, and so don't think there's not culture for you to visit when you are here in Ohio. And speaking of culture, when you are here, a lot of people like to go visit the Amish country when they are here in Ohio.
Yeah, Amish country, that's up in the north. I've been to Amish country before, and I tell you, you can get a lot of good stuff up there. They have a lot of good antiques up there, and it is definitely an interesting place to visit.
Ohio, and what you don't realize is, as popular as Pennsylvania is with their Amish, there's actually more Amish people here in Ohio than there are in Pennsylvania.
And if you don't know, if you're from out of the country and don't know who the Amish are, they are people who don't have technology for all intents and purposes. They don't use cars or anything like that. You have horse. You'll ride up and down the street. You'll drive your car to your right. They'll have or your left. You'll have people in traveling from place to place in horse-drawn carriages, and that's how they live.
Pennsylvania. And the thing is, my don't for that is, don't joke around when you see that horse and buggy sign when you're going to be on the road and you're driving around. There's like 5 counties that have quite a few Amish people in there, and you can drive the Amish County byway, but just have a heads up, because you'll be driving, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, horse and buggy, so do take care when you are driving an Amish.
Yeah, when I drove up there, I was very mindful of that. And I mean, look, granted, they're on the side of the road. They're not. There are some places where they don't have that. Now in Amish country they do, where there's a little to the side of the road on the right hand side, a place where just the horse and buggy go. But if you're heading, when I've headed up to my sister's place, sometimes they don't have that, and so you're driving your car and you come up and over a hill and then you come right down. There's a guy on a horse and buggy, so you have to be wary of that. You can't just be driving like a bat out of hell, and because you'll run right on into them. But like I said, you just have to be mindful of that.
Amish country, and when you're there, don't forget to pick up some furniture, because man, they make some awesome furniture, and they have really good candies as well. So
they have good furniture, they have good food, and they make good jellies and jams.
Don't forget to stop off there as well and enjoy the Amish country. And my last note for you is don't worry about leaving Ohio hungry, because when you come here, look, I know I talked about Skyline Chili and I talked about Wendy's. Those are fast food things. But for me, coming to Ohio, there's so much great food when you're here. And there's a lot of different influences. Like if
That's a year though.
you're by Cleveland, right? You have a lot of Eastern European influence. So yes, the pierogies that are there, the Polish boy you're going to have, the kielbasas just in general. I mean, there's a lot of really good Eastern European food. But when you travel around the state, the people have so much pride in their state. I mean, that's another reason why you don't diss it, because they are very proud of their state. The people take pride in their food and their communities and their community bar and their community restaurants. So you actually eat really, really well when you are here. So don't worry about eating when you are here, because you eat very well. I mean, I'll be honest, Joss and I had the best shrimp and grits we've had north of the Mason-Dixon line ever. And I was in Cleveland. So when you are here in Ohio, make sure you maybe add an extra, hole on your belt a little bit that way to enjoy a bit more of the tastiness, whether it's the ice cream, the chili, the pierogies, or whatever. And I really hope you have a great time here in Ohio. I know for me, I spent every summer as a child in Ohio, in Toledo, Sandusky, then Cleveland, and it was a wonderful part of my life. And I hope you have a great time when you come here to Ohio, because don't think it's not a place to visit, because honestly, they got some cool stuff to see. Anyway, I'll take off and I'll see you later, and I'll say bye from here in Ohio.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good video. Please click like, share, and subscribe for him, and like, share. And he is right. Look, in Columbus, there's a place called German Village where you can get a lot of great German food. There's so many different places you can get good food in Ohio. It's fantastic. But again, please click like, share, and subscribe for him. Please click like, share, and subscribe for me. Have a good rest of your day. This was a good video. Thanks for watching.